Good day, good evening, good night, and welcome. I believe this is our 117th podcast. Yes, it is. I see it at the very bottom here. It's our 117th podcast when I remember to keep check. I'm absolutely sure there's more than 117 podcasts altogether, but nonetheless. But we're here, we're back, and the clay is still here, and we're nowhere near finished, which is.
What do we
have? We reached the halfway point.
I think you kind of said we're at the halfway point. Oh, this is a long stretch. I mean,
damn.
hard code don't even feel this stressful and long. Does it? There's always like a break or just something happening in hard code season where it just doesn't feel like we're here on this thing all the time.
No, it doesn't feel that way.
Summer, but then everybody's always outside, so they don't give two fuck what's happening. And
yeah, you know what? Roland Garros finishes June 10th, so we literally have still a full month to go.
Yeah.
As of today, we're a month out, right?
And I'm sure there is some kind of tournament on clay afterward, Gestad and Bastad or something like that, right? I'm sure. Whenever Serena finds herself to pick up some extra points. Or when she don't want any more extra points, she's just like, I've had enough. I'm not here for this shit anymore. Whatever that tournament
is. My God.
Okay.
But anyway, we're here, but before I go any further, ladies, let me introduce my co-hostesses with the mostesses. And because today is Mothering Day, or Mother's Day, let me give a shout out first to Rich B. Karen, who is one of our very regular listener and contributor. Let me tell her happy Mother's Day. And to the mother that is here on our podcast who never lets us forget that she is a mother and we can't say shit because she popped out another human being in the universe. Right. We have Janina
my day,
from Farno, Ohio. Yes.
My day.
What you gonna do with that day?
I'm gonna lay around. Goddamn thing.
You can do that any other day.
I'm going to neglect all my motherhood duties on Mother's Day.
You should insist that the little person in your house do all the work and get you stuff, and your husband, like you say you want, I don't know, French toast with only like a half of it buttered. I mean, like they're supposed to make that happen.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you're not drinking mimosas and like whatever else you could think of. Or getting your nails done. Yeah,
you're making everything horrible right now.
You're playing it wrong. You're playing it wrong. You're not doing it right. You're not doing it right.
Let's not ruin her day. Let's not ruin her day.
Well, save that for next year or your birthday. Write this down. Make a note. These days, I insist complete domination. You people do what I say.
That's right.
Get the fuck out of here.
Congratulations to moms. Basically, you use your body part for other things than just pure pleasure. Thanks.
Yes. In some circles, you're a full human being, while Andrina and I are just waste.
People without children are so fucking incorrigible. I cannot.
But you know what's great about Mother's Day? Everyone has one. So, you know what I mean? It's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable.
And you know what? I think mothers should really insist upon this because at my work, they're like, Happy Mother's Day. I'm like, first of all, I'm a dude. And secondly, I don't have children. Like,
I know. You can't be blending this out. Stop drawing
it out because mothers are so giving.
This is not when we talk about diversity and inclusiveness. This is not what we want. This is not okay. This is not what we want in the workplace, okay? Don't be trying to what's her name?
Can't take that label.
Like Reba McEntire as Colonel Sanders. That is not the inclusivity and women's right we want. This is not it. Okay.
All right.
No. But we also have someone else here.
Yes, we do. Well, I'm just trying to give you special props. Wow.
I know. I'm extra bossy today. Move on.
Never again, Andrina. See, I told you this was a bad idea, but you insisted.
I'm kindness and loving all at once.
Oh God.
And we have Andre from Solely Tennis Travel, who I believe she's in her house where she pays the rent. You live right.
I am.
You collect mail.
I am.
I'm
I
convinced he pays rent nowhere.
Wherever you collect your mail, you're there, right?
Let me tell you something. I am that rare person now who still pulls out that checkbook. Actually, you know what? I have my checkbook for just my rent payment.
So do I.
It's the only.
So do I. It comes in handy.
I get so stressed out when someone wants a check and I have to actually find one.
Isn't that horrible? I know, but that's how it is.
It comes in handy. I pay my rent via check as well. But, and of course, there is Reels, the homosexual of the podcast. How are you ladies doing?
Oh,
We're
great.
good.
Well, okay, Janina.
Since you woke me from my napping slumber to podcast on my day.
Stop lying. Tell the truth. We pulled you away for your basketball finals or whatever's happening.
I mean, I woke up just in time to watch it. Now I'm not even watching.
It's all right. We're going to give you like an hour for the Cavs to
They're
mess up their lead.
losing. They're already losing. What are you talking about?
Exactly. So wait a minute. I thought you weren't watching. You see? Don't be trying to play like you're not watching.
I've got the live scores going on my phone.
All right.
You've known to be watching it at the same time, so there's no shame in that game. We won't hate her for that. There's lots of basketball fans.
She's just replicating the tennis watching experience when you have a job.
Right.
So, ladies, let's get to the tennis.
Okay.
This is, after all, a tennis podcast, I hope. But, you know, in this new world, anything is anything, right? So we have a lot of I mean, there's just a lot of Clayco tournaments, events happening, both on the men's side and the women's side.
God, we don't have to go through all of them, do we? We'll be here all day.
Well, no. I mean, some of the people but you should know that they have been interesting enough. Let me just sort of wrap it up in this way. There have been 7 men's events, and I believe about 7 women events. The men, so far, we're only halfway through, right? And in the men's finals, in all 7 finals, there was not a single 3-set match. Not one.
Beatdowns.
But just straight like, I'm gonna collect this money. I'm gonna collect this trophy right now. And we had some interesting results. We had a mixture of, you know, Nadal, of course, Vidal, it's Clay, and we have Zverev standing out. We had an American in the finals, Francis Tiafoe, who made it to the final of Estoril. But he lost to Yao Sousa, who got the home crowd going for him. Sasha Zverev won 2 titles. He won in Munich in front of his home country. I don't know if he's from Munich. Not that I really care.
German.
It's German, and he beat a fellow German, Cole Schreiber, and he just beat Dominic. Well, Cole Schreiber did well enough to get to a finals, girl. So
he always only just does well enough, though, right?
No, that's not true. He does well enough to get out of qualies and then lose it. Don't be playing yourself today, though. Don't be playing yourself today, okay? He did well to get to a final, okay? Someone saw him on TV. So
you're such an asshole.
That's brutal, but continue. I appreciate the
But
summer.
it's true. Zverev won 2 titles. He just recently won Madrid over Dominic Thiem. And some people who you might not even know I even care about. We have in Budapest, I think, isn't this no, they were supposed to play Budapest for that free vulture title, but he decided to show up in Barcelona and got his ass whooped. But who took care of the Budapest was a lucky loser. Cinato, I guess from Italy, beat John Millman from Australia. Why?
I still need for Cinato to explain. Wasn't he under suspicion for gambling?
Girl, you know they don't.
We don't talk about that.
Okay, well, let's. Okay,
we can talk about that later on because I reviewed that.
Oh, so did I. Oof,
and we have in Istanbul, we had Tao Daniel beating Jaziri.
Nice.
So that's a free money right there. Some I'm telling you, the scrubs are picking up because you know Andy Murray not around to collect some of these titles. So you know.
Yep.
So
I mean, you've got one. I mean, for this season, you have basically one of the big four holding it down. Yes, Nole's around, but you know what that means. So you basically, this is a free for all. It should be a free for all for all the other titles.
Well, it's a free for all. Nadal's not in the draw. Let's keep it real.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's a free for all.
Well, he can't be in all the places. 7 titles.
I don't know. He does everything else so magically. He might be playing 2 tournaments.
2 tournaments at once. Yes, I want to see him do that. But what's really great about this, but think about it though, like not only do you not have Federer to worry about, you don't have Andy Murray, and you have a hobbled Nole. This is like
certainly not around to feel like you're ready to win a title today. Like
to play well 1 week. You know what I mean? So
is that what we're calling Nole hobbled? Because I'm just gonna call him hungry. That motherfucker is so skinny. Like I don't even know. He needs food. He looks anorexic, and I'm not saying that to be mean. He looks like he is malnutrition.
Do you know what's so
needs to step in and fix that shit?
Can I tell you about what I love about that analysis? It's appropriate for Mother's Day because you sound like Nole. Isn't that every mother's analysis? You're just not eating enough. Oh,
oh my God, you're skinny.
Like, get your ass. You know what? If he came over right now, I would feed him, and I wouldn't even try to force bread on him.
I think it's interesting. Is it necessarily the case that if you go gluten-free, that means you just don't eat? I mean, I don't really know anymore.
Here's the thing.
Oh, there's plenty of gluten-free bread. It tastes like shit.
But there are other fattening options. He can eat butter. He can eat, margarine.
Have you seen the menu at Nole's restaurant? None of those fun things are passing your lips.
Dude, just eat a fucking steak.
But I'm just saying, does Nole even eat at his restaurant? Because I mean, that he had a tournament. He didn't show up there only bought wine. So I'm just saying,
we'll see.
He's known to.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, I just want to put it out there for the record, because I made a comment and put out a tweet, and then Nole fam came after me and said none of them brought any facts. I just blocked all of them because I have no time to have discussion with the world is flat people. I have no time to discuss with those people.
Oh my gosh! What did you say?
We should all get together and feed a child, feed Nole. Nole, we should collect 50 cents a day, 25 cents a day, and pitch together and get Nole some food. He does not look well. Not to say tennis players are not generally
big.
As the colloquial term is, big bone dead. Only with the exception, I guess, of men who play doubles and probably Sangha. They're probably the heaviest in the set. I mean,
Rafa, she keeps trying to suggest Rafa's big, but Rafa's big occasionally, and then next time you see him, you're like, where did he go? So I don't know.
But you know what? Rafa isn't the person. Like, I remember the first time I saw Federer in person, I thought, oh my gosh, he's way thinner than I thought he was.
Yeah.
As were most players, I've never thought that about Rafa. Even when his weight goes up and down, he's just bigger than the average.
Most of them, yeah.
Even when he's
smaller. Yeah. But I mean, you don't look at Rafa and be like, gosh, she fat. No, you don't think that at all.
No,
exactly. Some men on the double side, Marcus Baghdadis, you think, girl, Jack Sock, you think those things. But I mean, it's very rare you look at a tennis player and you're like, God damn, boo, you need to eat.
Okay, and I mean, so but aside from the food issue though, like, let's be clear. Because Nole's played a couple times. So I feel like you've done. Did you go through all the results so we can sort of do a little quick chat about each person on the men's side? Okay.
Yes. Okay. And we could talk about Madrid a little bit,
Okay. So for the men's side, I feel like we've seen Nole play. We've seen all the people who potentially could win at Roland Garros, right? So it's like middle of the clay. So what's going on with Nole? Honestly, like beyond the food, which I think is big because maybe that's also part of like his preparation.
If you don't have food, you don't have energy.
Yeah. I mean, for his game, he needs it. Like that's one of the things. I think what's interesting to me is how fragile Nole looks. How odd is it that these people who, when their games are on, we talk about them like they're machines, right? And that's Nole. And oddly enough, Nole and Rafa are like the two sort of machine players, or have been for the last couple of years. And now they're so vulnerable. Well, not Rafa right now. He was like 2 years ago, but now not anymore. And now you look at Novak. So I mean, as much as people are sort of worried about Novak, I feel like Novak is going to come back as well. Like I can't quite see how Novak doesn't do what Rafa does.
I don't think he's going to fade away into oblivion and not ever come back. He's going to figure something out, but I guarantee that when he finally figures out whatever's going on, he's going to have put some weight on.
Probably.
Because he can't continue looking like this. He doesn't look well. He doesn't look well. If I saw him, an athlete or not, I would think something was not well with that person. He don't look right.
Yeah.
I mean, his stands are trying to say, I mean, like his stands are trying to put out, you know, like, oh, he has celiac disease. No,
we can't say that anymore. Not anymore, right? Because wasn't he cured? That's like the language the doctor used.
His what's the word? I don't know, Dr. Strange put a fucking bread on his stomach and said he got celiac disease. Like, those came from his own words, okay? His book, you know, detailed how he was quote unquote diagnosed. And it is fuckery. It is anti-science. It is the wall is flat, you know, documentation. So he doesn't have this disease. And even when he supposedly had it, or well, when that was the talk of the town, he didn't look like this. And there is just nothing to sort of explain this. I mean, like, he didn't look like this when he came out of surgery, you know, like weeks after when he started to train. So,
although I have to say, I remember when Nole went on his big run in 2011 when tennis was invented. I remember when I turned the corner and saw him at Indian Wells, and it was startling how absolutely ripped and tight his body was. Like, his skin looked pulled over his bones. Like, he just was very much in shape. And I think what's interesting right now is that he looks kind of pale. Maybe that's also just part of it, is that he looks pale, because when he came on tour and went on that monster run, he was much thinner than he had been. But he looked okay because he had a tan and he just looked fine. I'm not seeing the Nole looks like he needs
no glow. He looks like he's about to pass out.
He looks hollowed out this time around, I guess. But I don't know if his weight is substantially different, or is it just because, like, we just are seeing him underperforming, and so there's all this sort of cloud around it. But I don't really see you guys seeing
up some pictures.
I think people I mean, like, unfortunately, you wouldn't get this from the tennis pundits, right? Because even when the anti-science junk came out from his camp at the beginning, everyone gobbled it up, right? I mean, this time, maybe you should try this too. In fact, even Marion Bartoli tried to pass that crap off and be like, I don't eat bread anymore. That's why I'm losing all this weight. And then you find out she's telling lies as well.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Remember John McEnroe? Everybody always forgets John McEnroe say, you know, they all show up looking fit and femme and telling us about some new diet they're showing or diet they're eating. I remember that, but everybody forgets that quote. But
right, exactly. And then
there's no new diet, because remember, New York Times tested it and found it wanting. So
exactly. And this is the other thing too, that people keep. It's almost like I keep saying, you know, tennis is such a horrible. It's just a microcosm of real life. Is that people get to say whatever the fuck they want to say and never prove it, and people
never be held accountable.
And people take it as if it's the Bible, and this is true, you know. And this is, oh well, he said it, therefore it is so. Despite there being no evidence, in fact, to show this. But speaking specifically on his tennis, you know, like I mean. Yes, Nole is in his 30s, and you know, but we've talked about this kind of game when your game becomes super physical, right? Nole game wasn't just physical like how Leighton Hewitt and Andre Agassi game is physical. Nole and Rafa, and by extension, you know, Murray, their game is to basically break you down beyond, like, to the nth degree.
Yeah.
At the minute that they lose a little bit of speed, there is a problem. But they're not just losing a little bit of speed. It's almost like they're going on fumes at this point.
When their bodies break,
Murray is in his 30s, and he got hip problems and back problems, which is going to be people like, he's not coming back for Wimbledon. I don't know how, because his hip
Well,
His back is
according to
already
him, not
into.
so much. That's on shore now. So
And also, when it comes to Nole's body looks like it is just like, I am not. No, sir. We're not going on to do with this.
can we talk about the fact though? Listen, let's be honest, guys. Can we talk about the people who have made inroads at Roland Garros for the last 4 to 5 years? Their bodies have been destroyed. Nole, Murray, Stan,
Anyone, basically.
and
Anyone really.
anyone who made any major inroads to get through that field and to make it to the final. Just think about it, because Murray was in the final a couple years
Ferrer?
Well, Ferrer, yeah. All of their bodies are like faded. They all fade. So you have and what's ironic is it's supposed to be the gentler surface. So what's strange to me is that the gentlest surface we have, which everybody says everything should be on clay. Remember at the height of clay, even like Americans were like, we should throw Americans on clay. Americans are like, no, I got you. I'm solid with the hard court. But for a tournament that is supposed to be the gentlest on your body, or a surface that's supposed to be the gentlest on anyone who's made any inroads, look at them today and their bodies are shadows of their former
self.
self.
Rafa effect. You saw
Except
Dominic
Rafa
today. You saw him today. This is our Prince of Clay who just beat Rafa, and look how he looked against Zverev.
Well, let me tell you something. So I went back. I have this thing that Rafa, there's a Rafa curse. Beating Rafa, it don't guarantee you don't win the title.
Yeah,
beating
never.
Rafa and Clay,
it's rare. It's rare.
You don't win the title. You're just down. Nobody. I can't think. I may be wrong, but I can't think of a single person who has beaten Rafa and won. Maybe going back to Carlos
unless you beat him in the final.
Right.
Which has been Djokovic style.
Yeah, Djokovic. Yeah.
And those matches, those matches are brutal for 3 setters. They are just fucking brutal.
That's the game plan. That's the game plan. That's the Rafa game plan. And I think, my pet peeve. This is, when people ask me why I don't like Rafa, it's not because I don't like the person Rafa, because hello, I don't know him. What I don't like about Rafa is that he encourages a style of play that is actually ultimately destructive. And which is why I think Americans really, and the American commentators, embrace Rafa, because he encourages a style of play that pushes back at the idea that tennis is not a masculine enough sport, right? Because nothing says masculinity than breaking your body, right? And so I really find that whole, because look at the way Dominique had to play to beat Rafa. There was nothing comfortable about because my biggest thing about Dominique is that when he plays, he just looks like he's awkward, his body's flailing, he's flying all over the place. When he plays somebody with control in their tennis, it's like you see how he flies. There's so many errors, but when you play somebody like a Rafa, in order to beat them, he has to be on the edge. He has a game style that it can beat Rafa, but the cost to you is ridiculous. He's out of position 9 times out of 10. His arms are flailing, because that's what you do when you're playing Rafa. You have to be willing to go everywhere the ball is at. And most people say, not putting my body in that position. Sorry.
And with that 100 backhand, he has to generate a lot of body torque.
Yes.
In order to spare him not being.
And then to get the ball that's like coming so high to his backhand, which he responds well to, right? That's one of the reasons why he can do it. But the way that his body was contorted, I looked at that match because, of course, it was a great match to look at because it's so rare when Rafa loses. It's an interesting match to watch.
But it's
like, but the thing that's so interesting about it is like, why would you want to do that to your body? For like just to beat Rafa? You look at it and like, this does not look like a fun encounter. Nobody says it. But when you look at the tennis that's needed to play and beat Rafa on this surface, it's not excellent tennis. It's excessive tennis. It's like overplayed. You look at it and you're like, your body's out of position. You've got to go for every single shot. You're living on high adrenaline because you can never relax. You've just got to go after everything because he gets so many balls on
his terms.
But Dominic played it on his terms. It's just that he was there with him.
Right.
And
that's what I'm saying.
Control of it, right?
And I think that, and it's unfortunate, I think, for tennis these days, like, I don't know if Rafa would have survived if he were in the Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi era where people had much more different styles to play. I don't know if I might be a real thing. I might be just pulling out of my ass because everyone plays the game just like Rafa, right?
Well, I don't know because you remember everybody says, if you think about those people, they didn't win many titles on clay.
No, I'm not even talking about I'm just talking
the
about
style. The style.
If the style would have been like he did, because what everybody did in tennis, right? About what the tennis world did was just make everything for Rafa.
Yeah. Well, or for the style, right? For the style. For that style.
Right?
Yeah.
Before Rafa fans come for me and say whatever. For that style of play. Stand on the back of the court and just
hitting a bunch of balls. I watched the Rafa versus Monfils match. And of course I love Monfils, right? But my hope is that Monfils took it to 3 sets because I knew that the type of player Monfils is, you've got to play like a Nick Kyrgios on that surface, right? Which is a little bit of way how Sasha plays today. Your serve has to be on and you're just not getting into these damn rallies. Mm-hmm. And you're just hitting the ball, you're hitting that person off the court and you're done. Like if people remember when Nick beat Rafa and Roger, that's how he attacked them on this surface at this stadium, right? Because the altitude allows for it. He's not playing classic clay court tennis. He's not grinding it out forever. Nobody can do that. If you're grinding out a match against Rafa, you're playing Rafa's game, right? And the only one who beats Rafa playing a sort of Rafa game is Dominic Thiem. But so when I look at it, I'm like, well, good luck with that. Because, it was great that he followed up by doing well against Kevin Anderson. But I would assume that he would have run out of gas here. He
had nothing against Sasha. He made so many errors. It was
Sasha hit him right off the court.
I just think he was
off the court. Yeah, I don't think it was that Dominic didn't have anything left. I'm not buying that. Sasha hit his ass off the court. Dominic did not know what to do. There was way too much power behind Zverev's shots.
Yep.
Zverev served well, I would say. But
It's important on clay to serve well. If you're just getting your ball in, which is most of the time what Rafa does, because is Rafa acing anyone on clay? He doesn't do that, right? And Dominic Thiem attacked his second serve, which then you're in a rally. So Sasha did not allow Dominic to play on his terms, which is, I would assume if you were trying to grind it out against Sasha, you would be quite successful. He's not that great of a mover.
Right. And I think Dominic started each set poorly. He got broken in the beginning of both sets. So that just allowed Sasha to be like, I'm stepping down your throat this evening. And, Sasha being the king of vulture, when motherfuckers don't show up, Sasha is there to squeak out a Master Series title. He got 3 people.
Well, he played convincing tennis today.
He played tennis all week. He didn't drop a set.
He didn't drop a set. He didn't get broken. So,
he got broken today.
Huh?
He got broken today.
Who?
Sasha did?
got broken. Yeah, he got broken because he opened each set by breaking Dominic. And Dominic broke back. Dominic broke back. Yeah.
I must have fell asleep at that part. But regardless, he's playing really well. And
but the other thing, it's an outlier. But it's also an outlier. It's an outlier tournament, right? Because you have some control with the way the ball's flat, not. But in terms of your serve.
The thing is, with this win, Zverev is going to go into Roland Garros #2.
That's great for him. That's good for him.
Yeah, that's great for him. That's real good for him. So he can go get embarrassed in the final should he make it that far by everybody else like Rafa. Or,
maybe get embarrassed in the second round. That's what you mean.
It's time for him to make a move at a major, isn't it? It's time.
We were having this conversation.
Right. Go ahead, Andre.
This is my claim. Okay. I know, listen, the tennis year is long. And I know the 4 calendar slams or the 4 majors are the biggest deal ever, right? Mm-hmm. But I really don't understand the argument about someone faltering at the majors because it's a different ball of wax. Like I get it when
different.
Yeah, I get it when people talk about it on the women's side because really, what's the difference? Maybe one more round, you don't get buys, and and that's fine. You can evaluate that. But I really do think that when we talk about the men's game and the physicality of the men's game, best of 5 is just a different animal. When the Masters were best of 5s, I think we were better able to use them as indicators of success, right? But
Yes,
they're really two different. You know what I mean? They're two different things.
Different tours almost.
Yeah.
Well, here's my thing.
Yeah, it is, right? When you look at who makes it second week in slams versus who's winning titles. Because that's the irony of it, right? The irony of it is that you've got people who are constantly making the second week of a slam who have not won a Masters.
Well, okay. I hear your point, right? And I concede you are making an excellent point. It is a different ball of wax, but we're talking about sports here. And though every tournament is basically the same tournament, you're playing the same tournament. For example, like you have world championships in all different kind of sports, but the Olympic roll around and it becomes the big deal, right? Michelle Kwan has 5 world titles, but no Olympic title.
It's not the same, though. It's not the same.
It just
because the rules don't change. The rules don't change at the Olympics.
However, when it comes to tennis, when it comes to sports, every sport has certain things that they see as being the demarcator of a good champion, a top player, whatever. And I understand that being Master Series entitled, but I think what I am much more keen on with Sasha and is the consistency. Yes, Murray was winning Master Series and failing at the majors, but he was prepared for the majors and made the second week. He was putting himself into the competition.
I don't think that's fair. That's
not
fair. Sasha's young. He's 20 years old.
But this is tennis, right?
What was Andy Murray doing at 20?
Nothing.
That's what I'm asking. Was Andy Murray?
Andy Murray at 20, he made the finals of US Open in 2008.
I'm just trying to make sure. Like, are we doing the right comparison here?
I mean, it wasn't he. I don't know how. In 2008, Andy Murray made the finals of the US Open.
And you can't use 2008.
But how long had he been on tour at this level? Because Murray started younger than Zverev.
No.
He didn't.
Again, I'm not saying that I want.
Well, I'm just saying that's probably not a good comparison.
I'm not saying I want Sasha Zverev to necessarily win a major. I'm just saying that 2008, right? He won.
Yeah, it was 2008.
Yeah, and he was
there versus
He lost. He won.
And his first major final was actually the 2008 Australian Open.
But here's the thing.
No. The 2008 Australian Open was against.
He lost.
And Sanga.
Yeah. That's true.
You're right. You're both absolutely right. You're right. Every sport has a pinnacle upon which you are judged, but there is no other sport that I can think of. There may be some somewhere, but there is no other sport, a major sport of the world, where the rules change depending upon what level you're playing at. So.
Yes, they do. They do kind of.
No. When you play the finals of a basketball game, the quarters never change. The time that you play never changes. When you play a football game, the time never changes. When you play a soccer match, the minutes are always the same.
Well, in basketball, there are no series until you get to the playoffs, right?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if there's a series.
Yeah.
But
the game is still the same. The game is still 48 minutes long, no matter what. When you play at Cincinnati, you play 3 sets, and then you turn around and go to the US Open and you play 5. You really can't truly compare the two. It's not the same. That's what Andrina's saying. And yes, it does matter that, that's how we judge our athletes in this sport. Can you make it at the majors? But the rules do change, and you have to consider that. You have to.
I think we're making too overly an excuse. Or
it's not an excuse or concession. It's not a concession. It's an admission that these are two things that are very different.
Okay. Yes,
go ahead.
I agree with what you're saying in terms of yes, at the majors you have 7 rounds, you have this best of 5 set instead of best of 3 sets, etc. What I'm simply saying is that, for me, is that when it comes to tennis, in order to be considered part of the conversation of the upper echelon of the sport, right? It's not just winning a major, right? Because you have people like Michael Chang who has 1 major, but he was getting to the semis and finals
Yes.
of the majors and whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
My thing is talking about I am more focused. My knock against Sasha,
is that he's not
also,
getting to the second week.
and also the reverse for people like Nick Carrier sometimes is that when you're on the regular tour, you don't show up. And even we could even like I consider, I call Sasha Zverev the ATP Svitolina, right? You show up for these tournaments, but when it comes to the major, my thing is that when it comes to the major, you are supposed to prepare yourself, right? You're supposed to get yourself into the mental frame. You don't win a major in the first week, but you can sure lose a major in the first week.
Sure.
And my thing is that Sasha shows up at the major with almost like the same attitude and panache, like, well, I'm Sasha Zverev, I'm the number 3 seed, and I'm just gonna coast in here my name alone. But he shows that when he's in it, he's ill-prepared, he's far more frustrated, he's not as patient as he is, and whatever the case may be. And yes, it is the best of 5 sets. But the thing about it, Sasha looked like a hot mess in the first 2 sets already.
But most people do. Most people do. This is what even the top players, if you're going to beat the top players on the men's tour, when do they say to beat them?
You better do it in the first week.
Week 1.
Yes. Everyone is messy. The question is, it's not so much about mental preparedness, which is one way. The question is, does Sasha have the kind of game that allows him to go off and still survive?
Because you yourself, Reels, say all the time, if you're going to beat Rafa on clay, you better do it in straight sets. You say that all the time.
But the thing
why is that? Why? Because you can't hang with him for 5 sets at that level.
Well, my thing is that I don't think you can beat Rafa and clay, but it's especially in Roland Garros. But I mean,
we all know that if you're playing best of 5 on clay with Rafa and you get to that 4th set, you're lucky to have gotten that far. And you're probably not winning.
Let me just say, to just wrap this up so that we're within our time straight. Yes, I respect that, Sasha, I'm giving him, kudos to get to the winning these Master Series. I think there are far more experienced players out there who should have been able to capitalize on the opportunities that can't do it and should be capitalizing on these opportunities and gifts that Sasha is being getting. Right?
Well,
somebody's doing all the hard work, and then Sasha just rolls up in there, and when the player, and he always sniffs out when the Novak and the Raf and the Raja are not feeling so well, right? They're just like, yeah, a little dodgy today.
He said today in his speech, I've been putting in the work. So I'm excited to see how that translates. He says, I've been putting in the time at the gym, and I know you can't see it looking at me physically. He said this, but he doesn't usually talk like that. He doesn't usually talk about, unless someone is criticizing him, he doesn't talk about the work that he puts in off court. So I'm interested to see if that translates well to a match where he has to play longer.
Okay, so this is my thing. I appreciate, because the other thing that I think people often do is hold people to standards that are weird and odd. And I remember when Sasha came on the tour, everyone said, including his physio, which people forgot, they said in order for Sasha to be able to hang with the big boys and do the kind of work he needs to do at a best of 5, it was going to take him 3 to 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, here we are.
Everybody said that because they said this is his body type. He's a thin person. We have to get him fitter. We have to do it capable slowly because we don't want the big hit and run, right? And that was different from Dominic Thiem, right? Who seemed to really peak at the slams, but then could never do anything at the Masters, right? So you have this kind of
which is probably because I'm sorry to just to have that for him, which is probably because he plays so much everywhere.
Exactly. But the interesting thing is, and also because his body is probably, and his game is really well suited for the surface, right? So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you're doing well, you can play on this surface, you can survive. You probably have a good A and B game on this surface because that's what people do, right? You have a good A and B game on your favorite surface. So even when you're not at your best, you can get through, which explains probably why Dominic Thiem can make a better progression on this surface, right? And you're right. It's very fair to say that Sasha could probably stand to get to a second week of a major, and it's odd that he hasn't. However, we have to also remember that in the beginning, before he started showing results, his team said, you cannot expect anything from this guy at a major for
Okay.
3 to 5
I
years.
will accept
And no
that.
one and nobody said anything about it until, but then he started doing well at the best of 3, and people are like, well, then here it comes. It's got to happen now. Which probably is also an understanding both of his body and his mentality, right? I think part of the issue with Sasha is that he's getting so much, he's getting so, and also he's getting so much press. People want him to be the face of the game in terms of tennis, at least. Tennis people want him because they know
we are thirsty for a young
person.
I think we're just
also
thirsty
somebody
for something interesting on the men's
and
side. Because, I mean, as
and
much
new.
as I love Roger and whatever the case may be, we know his usual shtick, okay? It's just personality, and like he's making everybody feel like he's like the Obama, right? But Roger's not gonna give you any crude jokes, okay? He's not gonna be out drinking at night and whatever the party center. You're not gonna get those kind of rumors with Roger. Sasha, we need some excitement on the men's side. It's pretty dull over there, for God's sake. I'm just saying.
It's true. And I mean, but I think people need to calm down about what is required of Sasha. I think you're right. Listen, the most that we can expect of Sasha is get through the first week, dude. You got to at least begin to do that. And a lot of it, maybe you're right, is probably lack of preparation, but also a good chunk of it is probably the mentality, like the expectation that he's been doing so well other places and expecting it to translate. But the one thing we all know about those people at the majors is they will come for your wig knowing they'll crash out the next round. It's really
there's money involved. There's a motivation factor there.
They don't care if they can't even win the next match. They just want to win that one.
But but you see, I hear what you're saying, the physicality thing, and I just never considered that. But when Janina tell me about the age factor, I don't know if I can rightly buy all of that.
No, the age
tennis
factor is different.
Young people.
It used to be.
I know now.
Anymore.
It requires muscular development that happens in men in their mid-20s.
Yep.
So I'm willing to give Sasha that much time. And I'm not talking about Sasha winning a major.
But you got to get the second week. Yeah.
Dude, you can't be coming in here the third seed and stumbling in the first round, looking like you were just.
Well, you know what? Not in this era of tennis where your seeding means all this must, because people used to do that all the time. Remember, Roger used to stumble out of majors when people were expecting him to win it. But the pressure. Hold up.
You know I am Federer stand like that, but I just have that happened that one time at the 2004 French Open.
Oh, look who's standing now.
That was gift wrap for Federer. Vidal had broken his leg or something, and that was all for Federer. Then Luis Hana decided, Guga Curtin decided, bitch, no, that's not happening. That's my one. And Gaston Gaudio was the last person to win the French Open before Rafa decided he's gonna take all of those trophies.
Honestly, the only thing that makes me giggle about Rafa winning the French Open is how much I know the French are annoyed by that.
Well, maybe they should be trying to give him statue because they're gonna watch that shit every day.
I know. No, because he's like, you've got like a Spaniard taking up residence in your home tournament. It just cracks me up. I know.
But anyway, we spend enough time on these men, and in the interest of good times, and getting.
But we did it. But we did a good job. We talked about Nole. We talked about Sasha.
Yeah, I think it. But and here's the thing. And here's the thing I love about this discussion. Despite all of this chit chat and the fact that Vidal lost in the middle of Madrid, just still no one looked like they're going to take that crown from Rafa. Just no one. Just
they're not.
You're going to show up in Paris.
This is Rafa's yearly rest. Come on.
At Roland Garros? You mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, no one's taking that.
I mean, like, the draw is just done. When the draw should come up, just be like, we ain't got nothing to talk about but sexy people on the men's side and just put Rafa at the very end. Just say it. Despite all of this talk, that trust me, people, anybody trying to put together an essay or an article to say people who could contend with Rafa, that is fake news. Fake news right there. Trash that bullshit. Because it's garbage. It is rubbish. Moving on to the ladies. So, as always, the WTA have some confusing ranking system. I don't even know if this is some real tournament here. Because, you know what? We had a tournament in China, Zheng Hao and Xiao Zhen, I think, beat another Chinese girl in 3 sets. Then we had Stuttgart, and I don't even know who the fuck did this, but Coconut got a wild card. And Coconut carry on wild in fucking Stuttgart. She dismantled Sloane Stevens, who was feeling cute from Miami. I think Sloane didn't even hold serve. She lost 12 straight games. To begin that match, I don't think she held serve. She got a breadstick and a bagel. I mean, Serena would have made that beatdown look much more sexy against Maria, but this, no, we got nothing. Okay, we got nothing. You just, I don't know. After Black History Month, you put this shit together, girl. Bye. Bye. Just get out of here. I mean, you might not be feeling well, but when you see that breadstick happen and you dunk 2 breaks in the 3rd, 2nd set, girl, you pull out. My belly hurts. My leg hurts.
Stop it.
I can't walk. You don't let
You did not.
do not let that school be. I mean, come on now. If Maria can take this kind of beat down, you know, and still, girl, no. Come on now. But you know what? I think Coconut did this just to send Sona a message. Girl, I lost that match at Fed Cup for spite because I wanted your ass to do some work. Because you weren't doing shit in the final. So you get your shit together. So Koplicka, she's the forgotten top player in the WTA. You know, sometimes it's like, oh, she's still here. Oh, wow. So she won herself a Mercedes-Benz. And we have a tournament in Istanbul. Parmentier decided to beat her cog. I know Janine is like, who are these people?
Yeah. You
then
are
we have a tournament in Rabat. We have Elise Merton. Again, these people beating Mrs. Curious. I can't pronounce her last name. I know this is not, she's not defined by her boyfriend, but I can't. Alia.
Just say her. Tomljanovic.
I might be saying that wrong.
Andre's like, anyway, God, just fucking say it.
Anyway, they had the Czech National Championships, which they call Prague, which is a WT event. It is like the women's version of Marseille, the ATP Marseille, which is just a whole bunch of Frenchmen, and decide let's invite like 5 other people from 5 other countries to come and say it's an international event.
Okay, can I just make a note that because Twitter is always so useful?
Yes.
How did this is just how much Madrid loves the women's tour. Why did Madrid give the winner of the women's tour the runner-up trophy from the men's tour last year?
No, they didn't. No, they did not.
That's what the trophy looks
like. That's how they do it.
Hey, Sasha Zverev said in his speech, we've got the best looking ball girls in the whole world. I'm like, dude.
That's the distinguishing thing about Madrid. That's probably one of the reasons why they show up there. Hey, the ball girls are going to be hot.
If WTA insists upon being part of these events, and I do like these mixed events.
Right? I love mixed events.
I don't know. I like it, at least from a TV point of view. They're all in one place, right?
But not for us.
It doesn't matter. I'm still streaming it.
You still can't find the fucking winner.
Well, I'm streaming it from the same place.
Can I tell you? Full confession. Full confession. I bought the WTA streaming for the month.
You dumbass.
It was $9. I was like, I'll do it. I'm not buying it for the year, but I was like, $9. That feels reasonable. So I bought it realistically because I was curious to see. Because I knew we were taping, and I was like, I'm not going to be always singing the same song about not paying for my tennis, right? So I bought it for a month so I could watch it. Because we still got a month, and at least maybe Wimbledon, they might show other matches. I don't know. So for the clay, they don't show anything but the men. So I was like, let me pay for this. So I paid for it, and I watched one match on it thus far, which was really great. It was the Venus match.
And that just like $9 just went down the drain.
I didn't even realize she was playing tennis.
I saw her lose. No, Venus is basically winning at life on her Instagram feed because she's just
she's like crazy. Modeling all over.
Which according to Reels, means that she will be losing in Rome.
I'm telling you, whenever Venus don't post pictures with her ass doing work, she out there living her best life. She not doing well on the court. When her off-court life is going cute and good, She's a hot mess. When she's in trouble off court, check it out. Check it out.
Horrible. But I mean,
gets her life together on court.
It went well. So I'm just saying this to you listeners to say I will be watching some WTA matches. I couldn't this time around as much as I wanted to. But hey, I have it for the month. And so there's no excuses anymore for the month.
So, just for you, you could probably check out. I don't know if they cover doubles. Do they cover doubles? Or they just
I
cover
think they
singles?
do. They have they do. I think and
so you
I
can
mean
check out Venus and
Madison Keys.
Madison Keys playing doubles. Is the Venus idea of Mother's Day gift or something? Does that how that works?
I'm guessing like, oh, Serena and I were gonna play doubles, but now she's not coming. Will you be my partner?
So can we talk about the fact that why is Poja? Why is she doing so well? She's on quite the winning streak.
I mean,
it's not green grass, so I don't understand what's happening.
I'm sorry. I just want to go back a second, and this might sound politically incorrect, but you know why? I don't know. No one has ever really convinced me that what Confederate is saying is actually Poja. That does not sound like Poja. But I don't speak.
Sounds more like a dying cat, but
I think it sounds like that. I think it sounds like when you hit a dog accidentally.
Thank you. I didn't want to say
whelp.
that, but as a woman, you can say that.
No. It's a whelp. It's a whelp. But I think she's succeeding very well. I think basically, I feel like she's hitting with a little bit more margin. She's not hitting as flat.
I think the issue is the weather. The weather has been relatively it's been relatively. Oh, girl, you know Petra don't.
She doesn't do good in the heat. What are you talking about?
You know Petra don't do heat. That girl needs to be at a constant cool 65 degrees. Anything more than that, Petra ain't having that. She loves England because the rain comes and keep it cool. It don't get crazy in England. Just don't get crazy at SW19. But I mean, like she does have. I mean, like you know, Petra. I mean, but the thing about it too, on the women's tour, there's not been any consistent clay court players for ages now. The clay has sort of responded to.
What about Maria?
Maria and Halep. I think Maria and Halep have been your consistent players that's done fairly well on clay.
I'm so sorry you people can't see my face because you know what.
And you can't say that. Listen, first of all, you cannot punish the women for lack of consistency on the clay when we just complained about the fact that we only ever see Rafa on clay.
I mean, here's something I think people don't consider. A lot of the time, particularly at the mixed event, the same court that they have designed for the men's game to have these battle out royale, 5-hour marathon matches, it's the same place where women who are smaller and not as strong as have to go battle it out just the same. And they can't play that style of game. So
they do. They do. I mean, if you think about the tournament this week, the women are the ones that gave people their money's worth in terms of time and length on court. I mean, not that many people are watching. Hello, Madrid. What is the deal? You guys don't like to watch women play sports? What's going on there?
I'm just saying.
No, they only like to watch them chase down balls in tight outfits.
Prague fixed that problem. I don't understand. Get some free people up in there. Even though they mightn't pay for the ticket, they're going to be buying shit. I don't understand. People don't get this, okay? You go to the tournament. If you can't sell the tickets, give tickets out to people.
I mean, it's weird. It's weird because you're going to see next week, it's going to be crowded in Rome. So, Madrid, I don't understand why that even is considered a great tournament for the women. It's not. I mean, nobody shows up unless maybe a Spanish-speaking player is playing. Then they may show up for the women. But man,
plus they have night sessions too, and I don't understand.
Yeah,
y'all need to fix that. It just looks despicable. But
I mean, especially when they're showing up for like a 1-hour men's match, and you've got this like battle royale going on the women's side, and everybody's like, "I'm gonna go see Verdasco lose in 20 minutes
again."
But I think Petra is probably. I think she's probably. This might be a motivation because she didn't do so well. She's done well at Madrid anyway. She's won Madrid before.
She's won it, yeah.
And I think perhaps she thought at the beginning of the year she would have been far more successful. Because the real person who can. Well, no, I mean, like whatever issues she had last year because of the attack. I mean, she had walked through all those kinks, right? So, last year was a a gimme. But this
Yeah.
year, I think perhaps, like Serena isn't here. And really and truly, top form Petra. Who else is on told to give Petra problems? As a
Where's
rank.
Vika?
Maybe
Well, no,
Vika, if she
actually,
can
no,
get it
actually, no.
together.
Vika does. I think she has a losing record against Petra.
I thought you were talking about Serena.
No. I mean, but Serena isn't here. But I mean, for Petra, I mean, Serena is the only person who really unequal with Petra.
Mm-hmm.
Who not unequal with Petra, but I mean, like, who can put Petra in a headlock and be like, "Girl, you're going nowhere." Besides Petra herself, of course. I mean, because Petra loses a match on her own. But I mean, like, Vika doesn't have a winning record against against Kvitova, and she's not even here anyway. I mean, like, she showed up for a little bit, and she had more issues with the towel. Apparently, Madrid was just like, we can't bring white towels on the court. We want those yellow Schweppes towel. And the players are just like, we don't want to wipe our face with that shit. We don't know what dye they're using. Come on now. Like, in fact, the sponsors insist.
Are you making this up right now?
No, I'm not. The sponsors insisted that they take the towels away from the player, that they couldn't go. Like, given that white towel, you don't get shit. And if they were allowed, they were only allowed one towel. And you know this, like,
Oh my God.
But I mean, I think Petra's probably feeling herself, but it's Petra. So 1 minute she could be feeling herself, and next minute she'll be a hot mess. So
no, I think it's good. I think it's good. I mean, I think a lot of people really enjoy Petra, especially tennis reporters. So I think it's really nice that you could have like a player who's responsive in the press, and it's easy for people to write a story about, and there's like an easy narrative around Petra, right?
Oh, she's the only real. She's the only consistent story, but she's consistent. So on the WTA, Lord great. Knows, the diva doll of the WTA told Simona Halep.
I don't know. Somebody tried that. It was cute.
I mean, what kind of fucking take is that?
Oh my God.
It was nice. It was nice. Listen, we all have to try. You have to give them points for trying.
No, that is like saying some fuckery Melody Trump is the new Michelle. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, that's not even a take. That is just insanity. Like, people need to check your judgment. You shouldn't be making decisions on your own. You're not a good adult. You're not an adult. You can say that Simona, who show up in major finals and loses them, like it's like, no, come on now. But I mean, I would love for Simona to do well at the French Open. I mean, it's there for the taking.
Why?
It's there for the taking.
Do you think Serena shows up for the French?
No, of course not.
No. Come on. Because even the gentlest surface that is clay is not good for somebody who's returning from an injury. Okay, I don't know who sold us that storyline, but she's not coming back. I mean, if Serena starts to get, she looks like she's practicing and doing well though. But I don't know that was always the question, right? Do you not play any tournament and then just show up for Roland Garros? I can't quite see it. But.
I mean, Serena, there's this fake allure around Serena that she plays herself into shape. People know she plays herself into shape because she's working. She's putting on the yacht, putting in the work off the court, and she's not been able to do that.
But the issue right now is that she said she was coming back for Rome.
Serena says a lot of things. A lot of things.
That's
we just talked about this earlier. You can talk a lot of things, but where is the proof there? No, girl.
Oh my!
You're not in Rome. You're not gonna. Of course, she pulled out, right?
Yeah, she did.
Of course,
wasn't she at Marantaglu's academy, which is in France, right? So.
Yeah, I don't know. You know what? Nothing she does anymore surprises me. Like, everyone's like, no way in hell she plays Roland Garros without a warm-up tournament.
She probably could just to play herself into shape for Wimbledon,
which is exactly why I say, well, now she'll probably play because no one expects her to be there and watch her ass fucking win or some shit, and I'll just laugh.
No,
I would laugh so hard.
Serena is not winning the French Open if she started to play. No, she's not.
I mean, I don't think we can. I don't think we can comfortably.
I wouldn't count her out.
I don't think we can comfortably make those demands on Serena at this point.
No, I don't. Exactly. I'm not making any demands on her. But
I just mean that expectation.
You want to tell me though that you would be legit surprised? Really?
I mean, I'd be really, really surprised if Serena showed up at the French and won it. It's notoriously been a difficult tournament for her to win. I mean, she started to win it much more in the later years because she has been willing to be out there and play long points and really have more patience, right? But given somebody that's coming back, it's not an injury, but it's a big life shift.
Gabby Muguruza in the first round, and that's gonna be the end of that.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that. It's just like I don't have the same expectations of Serena.
I have zero
in that way.
But I'm gonna be.
But that's also because I don't believe in magical of science. I don't believe in I don't believe in. I don't believe in those kinds of things.
I'm not even going that far to say she win. I would be legit surprised if Serena plays at the French Open. 1, 2, she wins 3 rounds and gets to the second week. I would be legit surprised by just that.
Huh, I wouldn't.
I mean, it depends on who she plays. It depends on who she plays.
I feel like
if she has a nice draw, Serena's game is such that if she has a nice enough draw, she could easily get through a couple rounds on reputation and skill, even if she's not match ready. I believe that's possible for her.
Here's why I say no, because these women were always gunning for Serena. Whenever
they are, but not if she ends up playing somebody who's not, anything in the first round,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I have to see some legit proper practice video where she looks like she's moving back to her old self. I mean, and she's serving well. Serena
she's definitely getting that weight off.
She's just had a C-section, and her game is built around the control of her serve. Not just necessarily bombing aces, but like placement. I could put it wherever I want to put it, and that requires good, strong core. And I don't know if that is ready and able yet. So, but Serena, you keep doing you.
You know what she should do, Reels? She should do box jumps with you.
What's that?
I'm not being very nice right now. I'm not going to put all his business out there, but Reels is coming back from an injury of his own. So,
well, speaking of Serena, I think how is everyone enjoying Serena's new show, which I have not watched because it's on HBO, right? And I don't have HBO. And
I have HBO. I have not watched it. I probably won't. I don't know. It just seems stupid.
You know what? I'm not going to watch it. Listen, I will admit to this. I'm not going to watch it week to week. I need this to be delivered to me like Netflix.
I'm so wait for it to be over.
If it's all done, I will watch. That's probably how I'm going to watch Insecure next, because I'm not going to get back on HBO. So I'm not buying HBO. So I will do these shows.
You hear that, right?
Together. Yeah. Yes, that's time.
Almost time for us to go.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the whole thing. So we might need to find somebody who's watching them week to week and talk to them about it, because I'm going to watch it. I'm going to watch it just all in one fell swoop, if I watch it at all.
It doesn't.
I don't have any desire to watch it, like zero. So I don't know if I'll watch it at all.
Yeah, it's not my thing. But I will say this though, it's not my thing. Although I will say this: if Venus put out a documentary, because I don't know shit about Venus, I would like to watch that. Because she keeps her shit shady. She's like, I'm not telling you my business. So I feel like I'd like Venus to do it, but it's fine. I think what's great about Serena though,
fuck me up. I would just pissed at Venus. So Venus, no documentary for you, because it's some shady shit. Either like All Lives Matter, or you know what? When I was losing that match, I thought of Reels, and I was just like, I had no interest in winning this match. Even though I know Reels is screaming his heart out for me to win. So you know what, Venus, keep your business to yourself. But you need to dump that man though. That man, that relationship don't
I will say though that I think it's really wonderful that I think that one thing I've noticed about Serena's brand is that it's really transformed to her benefit. I think that she has now kind of entered this space where she is able to get the full power that comes from an athlete doing well, like white athletes have traditionally done. I think that there's this really great marketing space for her now as a tennis mother. I see many people saying, "Oh my God, I never really liked Serena, but now I'm warming to her." I don't know what that means. Maybe people have suddenly decided that because she had a baby, she's a human being. But
because you get to see it when you see a mother.
Side.
Yeah, when you see someone interact with a child that you don't like, and you see that love that can't be hidden because it's so pure, you have no. What do you say to that?
Well, I mean, you say, "Hey, this person's a human." For the first time, I realized it. But Yeah.
But I think that's what's going on.
No, I think it's, but what I'm saying is I think it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if we can probably have a longer conversation about this, but I think Serena's market position is really different and has changed quite a bit. I think a lot of things are going on. I think it started happening when she sort of solidified her place, when she sort of reached Chrissy's number. And then, all those commercials, these kind of commercials were kind of like blue chip commercials started happening. That really,
2014.
Yeah, that really allowed her to enter a different space. And I think that's really great. And now this mother piece, I think, is also offering her an opportunity to enter a space where I think white women can find her appealing in a different way, not just as an athlete, but as a mother too. So I think there's all of this like really interesting journey that Serena has been on just from a marketing standpoint.
She's paving her way to leave the world of tennis. Let's be
for
real.
Sure. But she always has been, right? So, I mean, I think it's always been sort of dismissed before. But I think this time around, it's very clear to me.
You have to pay attention. Yeah.
Yeah, you're paying attention. And I think this HBO documentary is sort of the pinnacle of it, right? Just the press around it and the way people are talking about it and the things that
I don't
people
feel
find interesting.
I guess I've been away from Twitter, but I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel like people are talking about it. Are they?
People are talking about it.
The initial one, the first one, I think got a lot of press and a lot of it had a lot of the HBO press behind it and a lot of people pushing for it. I think it's great. It's not my cup of tea. I don't really, I guess I watch murder porn. I like reality TV in that way, but I don't really like athletes who sort of expose themselves in that way while they're having a career. I feel like the product is going to be really specific then.
Watered down.
Yeah. And so that's not that interesting to me because it's like, I need to see you when you're not in the game and you can then be free with what you say or all those kinds of things.
But she's had enough going on in her life lately that there's probably a lot of that.
Oh, a ton of family stuff. It's like a ton of family stuff.
Well, you know what?
So that's cool.
You know what?
I feel like Tony isn't yelling at me every day to watch it, so it can't be that great.
Okay, I got things I want to say, but I just gotta wait.
What are you gonna wait on? What are you gonna wait on? Say when are you gonna say it?
I don't know, but I'm just.
Well, you wait. Okay. Well, we'll let you wait.
I'm just uncomfortable about the whole thing.
Well, you know what, though? You know what's interesting about the whole thing, though, Reels? This is equality. Serena has the right to create a public persona for herself for the fans to consume as anyone ever has. I think that's what's really interesting to me is that I think I see this happening with Serena. I see this happening with lots of other sort of African-American athletes in a way that has always happened in other spaces for other people. And so, I don't usually like it in those other spaces because I don't want to consume people in that way. But I also can appreciate what's cool about this for Serena fans, right? You get to have an access to her life.
I just have a question or perhaps a comment. Was Serena fans confused or unclear about Serena in any way in this capacity? I don't think they were.
No, but the consumption culture is big.
For Serena's fans. I don't think it's by Serena's fans because Serena's fans were never unclear or unsure as to who and what she is.
For sure.
Or questioned anything about her humanity, her ability to be a mother, her role as a champion, or anything.
I don't think that's what Andrina is saying, though. I think she's saying that it's interesting that she even has the opportunity to put herself out there that way. Because most Black women don't, in general, especially not an athlete.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. For me, it's just like I'm thinking that there is something else behind of this, and I'm like,
listen, Serena is capturing. Serena is capturing the space. Listen, she's capturing a space. Listen, that's a valuable thing.
And I would say that it could make it easier for someone else down the line to do this. For sure, for sure. I would salute that
she's following in Beyonce's footsteps. Oh, Beyonce did a documentary.
Do not get him started on.
I know. I'm just teasing. I just said that to tease. But no, she's following.
I have a question now that we have a captive, Serena stan audience. There is a subset of people, a lot of people who are Serena stans and are also Diva Doll stans. Yeah. And I just want to put, as we wrap up our podcast, is that why y'all be dragging Federer say Federer don't play part of the year when Serena is the queen of taking time off galore? I know I'm putting asterisk next to her GOAT. And Serena been taking time off galore from the jump.
Which is it's a good strategy.
Jump.
That's why Roger learned it. He worried about watching Serena.
You know, for her body and longevity. But y'all know Serena be clocking out after the US Open. She be clocking out after the US Open so many years.
It's good for her. This is why you still have Serena playing for all these years. Serena and Venus were really good at that. Although Venus hates to do it because it seems like Venus. I don't think Venus loves anything as much as she loves playing tennis. To be honest,
I think Venus loves to travel and shop, so she's just willing to show up at the event and then just be like, "Fuck it, I'm done."
It takes Venus too long to bounce back. I think that's why she doesn't like it as much either.
Yeah, she can't do it.
If she wants to keep playing, she needs to do that.
I mean, they're forced time off of Venus, like, you know, in Madrid. You show up first day, like, boom, bunks, go home. You got all that week off.
Oh my God, you're such an
just go to Madrid. You know, Venus, I love you, girl. You're my girl.
I mean, I think the big thing is people need to get over the taking time off. It's dumb. It's a dumb idea. I don't understand it. It's in one way, it just depends, right? It's like people love it when your favorite does it, and then they come back and they dominate. You're like, look, my favorite can take time off and still dominate. Woo woo. Or you know, people go. I think the difference though is that Serena is the ultimate GOAT on the WTA side, so people don't have. You're never convinced that this person's running scared. I think the narrative for Federer and other people is that they're running scared.
Yeah,
that's the narrative. That's a different thing.
I mean, why would he be running scared? And
come on, let's.
You know what?
Running from Rafa.
I would be arguing. I'm trying to do
I don't know why he'd be running for Rafa when he's stuck by Rafa when he was getting his ass kicked for years.
I know, right?
I agree.
The world is flat, people.
That's
the world is flat, people, and I have zero.
It's a weird idea. But I think, you know what?
But I'm just putting it out there because, you know, it's a context out there. But
if you want your faves to play for a long time, I say let them do whatever they need to do it. I mean, it sucks for you if you want to see them all the time, but if you want them for 2 years, I swear I think people would love it if you can guarantee that someone sticks around for additional couple of years if they only played certain seasons.
But I'm just saying, especially in this current world, people, these it's flat people. Mm-hmm. Why y'all trying to force people to show up to work when they don't have to?
I don't get it either.
I mean, y'all are like
because I have to show up to work. Because I have to show up, you have to show up too.
Exactly. What kind of bullshit is that? Don't be that way, people. Come on, let's be sensible here. But anyway, we have a timer up, and you know we just got to wrap it up. So it's not gonna be a long event, people. Long podcast. We're sorry because it's Clay. What else is there to talk about, Rafa?
Oh, this is perfect. It's perfect. We're ready for next week.
So next week is gonna be exciting. We will be back next week because next week it's Rome, and by then, if we can't pick somebody, you know, we can talk about the serious people because nobody else playing after Rome except, you know, Scrubs.
Oh wait, I thought next week is our top 6.
It is
right. It's next week. I mean, by then we wrap up. We consider the Clay season wrap up. The warm ups wrap up.
The warm ups to this season is so fucking long. We have a warm up to the wrap up.
Exactly.
God. I'm looking forward to it. There's some new ladies that are making the top tier. So I think we have new ladies to choose from. That's exciting. Yeah, listen, where was Elise
struggles with this?
Where was Elise
struggle week?
I know, but where was Elise Mertens last year? Nowhere. I mean, now she's around. I have to consider: is this somebody that seems cool?
Is she somebody that's gonna get it?
You know, I don't know. She might. So, you know. So there are a couple new names on the block, a couple people who faltered. So, you know.
Well, I hope y'all know y'all have to come with pictures because ain't nobody know who y'all are talking about.
Okay,
y'all
forget you. I forget. I'm forgetting.
Come
Listen,
on, Mr.
I don't even have to play. I don't even have to come with pictures because guess what? I have WTA TV for a month.
Oh my God.
You know, Janina, when it comes to the men, you don't need names. You just need a picture, and that's it.
We need name for your people.
Yeah, we do. Because you're
all right. Coming up with
like it that way because you hold the stealing men out here. And I can't.
All right. So our next show will be live
Ooh, we're doing it live.
Oh yes, for top 6. Yes, for top 6 ladies
Top
in
6 will be
Roma.
live. We know we
And-
don't know when it is yet because I'm a mother.
Okay.
Yeah. You got one day and know she's trying to extend it to
Extend
next
it for a week. I mean, listen.
come on now. See?
Okay, bless you, Mom. Okay,
You
happy
kinda got
Mother's
nice
Day
things.
to Janina, and happy Mother's Day to the ones who are listening as well. Just mothers, okay? Don't try to steal this holiday.
That's right. Fuckers.
All for the dads who have to be moms in the family too. So just
fuck that. They
We
get
got a
Father's
day
Day.
for that. It's called Dad Day.
Yeah, that's right.
But I be seeing half you mothers be like, I've been to fathers too, so I want Father's Day presents.
Those bitches get on my nerves.
I know. All right, loves.
Anyway,
It's been
thank you
lovely.
all for listening. Don't forget to comment below, and we are on YouTube, we're on Podbean, and we're on iTunes. Okay,
And everywhere else.
And everywhere
All
else.
right.
And please people comment, keep the conversation going and lively below. And not some stupid shit like y'all I know that haters. That is just basic. We know that. We know that already. Come with something new.
I don't even admit to that. All right, I gotta go.
All right, good night. Have a good day. Bye, folks.
Bye. Oh.